At first, I didn't notice it. Not right away. It began as little things: a missed invitation to a project meeting, a weird shift in how people greeted me or didn't. The kind of subtle shifts you second guess. Maybe I forgot to reply to a thread. Maybe I imagined the tone in that Slack message. Maybe I was just overthinking. But by week 3 of this strange vibe, it was clear. I wasn't imagining anything. Someone was talking about me, and not in a good way. My name is Jordan, and I don't do office drama. I work in marketing ops for a medium-sized agency in downtown Seattle. We're not a Fortune 500 powerhouse, but we have big clients and even bigger egos. It's the kind of workplace that throws around words like collaboration, transparency, and we're a family, but everyone knows that under the neon signs and artisan snacks, it's a jungle with better branding. I've been here for nearly 4 years. Long enough to know when something's off. And something was very off. The queen bee arrives. Enter Brittany. She joined the company as a social media strategist with a resume full of buzzwords and an attitude that said, "I run this place," from day one. She was magnetic, the kind of person who could insult you mid-sentence and you'd thank her for the attention. Upper management loved her energy. She called herself high-performance chaotic neutral on her LinkedIn bio. That should have been my first red flag. She also had a particular dislike for anyone who didn't immediately worship her style of creative disruption. Guess who didn't? The rumors begin. I noticed it during a Monday all-hands. We were reviewing Q2 campaigns. I'd managed one of our best-performing ones. Numbers were solid. Engagement up 40%. But when my slide came up, Brittany leaned toward another teammate and whispered something. They both laughed. Later that day, the creative director asked me in a side chat, "Hey, is everything okay?" Just getting some feedback that you've been tense during reviews. Tense? I'd led that review. Calm, data-driven, confident. Where was this feedback coming from? The setup. Things escalated fast after that. Someone from HR asked me to clarify my tone in a client email, an email I didn't even write. A spreadsheet I owned was edited behind my back, and when the numbers were off, I was blamed. Brittany posted a funny story in Slack about a coworker who melts down over colors. She didn't name names, but the story? Word for word, a meeting I'd been in. I started to feel like a ghost in my own office. The discovery. It happened by accident. Brittany had left her laptop open in the shared conference room while she went for coffee. I was just grabbing my charger. I didn't touch anything. But a notification popped up. "What's up?" Brittany. "Jordan seriously needs therapy." Who the hell panics over formatting skull? And then another. Brittany. I swear she's one breakdown away from going full Karen. I froze. My heart thudded. Because suddenly, it all made sense. The rumors. The cold shoulders. The concerns from managers. She'd been poisoning the well. And people had been drinking. The choice. I had 2 options. Confront her and play her game. Or collect receipts and let the truth destroy her story. I chose the second one. Because if Brittany thought she could ruin my reputation behind a screen, she clearly had no idea who she was messing with. I didn't sleep well that night. It's one thing to suspect someone is trash-talking you. It's another to see it spelled out, emoji-laced, casually cruel, for others to laugh at in real time. I was angry. But I wasn't going to let that cloud my strategy. Brittany played this game in shadows. Fine. So would I. I knew I needed more than a few pop-up messages on her laptop. 1 screenshot would be dismissed. A dozen could be denied. But a pattern? A coordinated digital smear campaign? That would speak volumes. So I started observing quietly. I paid closer attention during meetings. Logged every weird side glance, every Slack message that felt passive-aggressive. I saved them all. I even started keeping a personal timeline of every misattribution and correction sent my way. And most importantly, I reconnected with the one person who had quietly stepped away from Brittany's circle, Maya. Maya was on the design team. Smart, grounded, and the kind of person who saw through corporate nonsense but never said much. I asked her to lunch. Halfway through our salad bowls, she sighed and said, "You're going to ask about Brittany, aren't you?" I blinked. Why? Because she talks about you. A lot. In the group chat. In private DMs. Even during happy hour. She hesitated. Then added, "It's not just gossip. She's strategic. Like she's trying to turn the team against you." That was when Maya pulled out her phone and showed me screenshots. And there it was, a private message thread between her and Brittany. "Brittany, Jordan's a mess. Just smile and nod, she'll dig her own grave soon anyway." I stared at it for a long moment. "Will you let me use this?" I asked quietly. Maya nodded. Someone has to stop her. At that point, I didn't even need to dig anymore. The material came to me. 3 more teammates, all independently, told me they had seen or heard Brittany mock me or spread doubts about my work ethic. So I decided to build the dossier. Screenshots of messages, anonymous testimonies, a copy of the group chat transcript from Maya. Yes, she exported it. And a comparison of Brittany's stories versus the actual email/project logs that disprove them. I compiled everything into a clean, time-stamped PDF. I titled it, "Reputation Sabotage, Internal Record for Review." I didn't send it to HR. Not yet. First, I forwarded it to everyone in the group chat. The very coworkers Brittany had tried to recruit with her toxicity. And in the body of the email, I wrote, "I thought you deserved to see what's been said in your name and behind your backs. If we're a team, then transparency matters. I won't be speaking about this again publicly, but I will defend my name privately, professionally, and legally if I must." And I hit send. Then I shut my laptop and went for a walk. The fallout begins. By the time I got back, my inbox was on fire. One person replied with, "I had no idea. I'm so sorry." Another, "This changes everything." Someone else, "I feel sick reading what she wrote about all of us." And then, silence from Brittany. But it didn't last long, because by 3 p.m., she was called into HR. And by 5 p.m., her desk was cleared. The Monday after Brittany was fired, the office felt strange. Not quiet, not tense, just strangely balanced. Like someone had lifted a noise-canceling filter from the air, and suddenly, people were talking like human beings again. I caught snatches of hushed conversations. "Did you see the screenshots? I can't believe she said that about Maya too. Honestly, she got what she deserved." But no one said a word to me directly. Not yet. And that was fine. Because I wasn't doing this for applause. I did it to reclaim my name and my peace. The aftershock. HR called me in 2 days later. A senior advisor and a legal rep were already seated when I entered. I braced myself. "Jordan," the advisor said carefully, "we want to start by saying, thank you." I blinked. "I'm sorry. Your documentation helped us uncover not just Brittany's misconduct, but also a pattern of toxicity within her team's culture. We're launching a broader internal review." I nodded slowly. "And what about the people who encouraged her? Who laughed along?" She hesitated. "They've been spoken to. Some are on notice. Some may not stay." I didn't feel triumphant. I felt exhausted, because this wasn't a win. This was cleanup. Necessary, overdue cleanup. The unexpected ally. A week later, I got an email. Subject, coffee? It was from Maya. We met at a quiet spot near the office. No drama, no gossip. Just 2 people decompressing after a storm. She sipped her latte and smiled. "I'm proud of you, you know." I raised an eyebrow. "For exposing someone?" "No. For refusing to let someone write your story for you." That landed harder than I expected. Because she was right. This wasn't about Brittany anymore. This was about me reclaiming my narrative. Rebuilding the room. Over the next few weeks, things began to shift. Team meetings were more inclusive. People asked me questions again, not out of suspicion, but respect. I was invited to collaborate on a new cross-functional project the first time in 3 months. It wasn't overnight healing. Some people still kept their distance. Some were embarrassed. But I wasn't holding grudges. Not anymore. If anything, I had empathy. Because Brittany had manipulated all of us. I just happened to be the first target with a backbone. A new kind of reputation. HR asked me to join a small task force on workplace communication culture. I almost said no. Then I remembered what Maya said. If you don't write your own story, someone else will. So I said yes. Not to be the loudest voice, but to make sure no one else got quietly destroyed behind a smiling face and a group chat. Joining the task force wasn't glamorous. It wasn't public or flashy. No big announcement. No badge of honor. Just a bi-weekly calendar invite titled Culture Reset Working Group, Confidential. It was me, Maya, 2 mid-level managers, and, surprisingly, Jared from legal. Jared, who once seemed like a silent corporate robot, turned out to be insightful and deeply frustrated by the toxic undercurrents he'd watched in silence for years. I've reviewed exit interviews where women literally cried about how they were treated, he confessed in the first meeting. But nothing ever changed because no one wanted to be the first to shake the tree. I had shaken the whole damn forest. From scapegoat to architect. Over the next few weeks, we reviewed case studies, anonymous feedback, and historical complaints. What emerged was a grim but familiar picture. Passive-aggressive managers weaponizing ambiguity. Slack channels being used as gossip echo chambers. Performance reviews subtly punishing those who didn't fit the vibe. I wasn't the first target, just the first to document and expose it thoroughly. So we got to work. We rewrote communication guidelines, drafted new reporting pathways, and created a formal process for digital misconduct, group chats included. It was exhausting, but also empowering. For the first time, my voice wasn't being filtered through whispers. It was being used to rebuild something real. And then came the offer. It was a Friday morning when the email arrived. Subject line. Opportunity. Director of Internal Culture. We'd like to talk. It wasn't from my company. It was from another agency, a competitor, actually. One I'd long admired. Apparently, someone had seen my name mentioned in a LinkedIn article about employee-led cultural change. They were starting fresh, building from the ground up, and they wanted someone like me to lead it. I stared at the screen for a long time, choosing my story. I didn't say yes immediately. I talked to Maya, to Jared, even my mom. Everyone said the same thing. You earned this. But what stuck with me most was what Maya said over coffee that weekend. You turned your worst workplace moment into something better for everyone else. You don't know this place you're healing. You already gave them your strength. That hit hard. Because for so long, I'd tied my identity to surviving. To proving I was more than what people whispered about me. But maybe it was time to stop surviving and start leading. I resigned with grace. I wrote a simple resignation email. No dramatics. No subtle digs. Just, thank you for the lessons, both the hard and the meaningful. I'm proud of the progress we've made, but I'm even more proud of the person I've become. It's time to take the next step. They were shocked, of course, but they respected it. Maya hugged me on my last day. Jared wrote me a short card. You didn't just hold the line. You redrew it. The first thing I noticed about the new office was the silence. Not the tense, everyone's afraid of saying the wrong thing silence, but the kind that comes with focus. The kind of calm you only feel in places where trust isn't just a word on a wall. Where people don't scan the room before speaking their minds. Where no one weaponizes kindness as a shield for cruelty. This wasn't just a new job. This was a clean page. From damage control to culture creation. I started as the director of internal culture. It sounded vague at first, but that's what made it powerful. Because I got to define what it meant. In my first month, I set up 1:1 listening sessions with every department. No agenda. No PowerPoints. Just 2 chairs, a notepad, and the question. What's something this company has never asked you, but should? The answers stunned me. What does safety look like for you? What do you need to recover from past jobs? How can we prove we trust you, not just say we do? So I built policies around those answers. Quiet rooms, trauma-informed feedback cycles, digital conduct rules, and a zero-tolerance policy on side-channel harassment, written in plain English. The message from Brittany. One night, maybe 6 months in, I got a DM. It was from Brittany. I hadn't seen her name in so long, it felt like reading a character from an old book. She wrote, "I heard what you're doing. It sounds real. I wasn't kind to you. I know that. I don't expect anything. Just wanted you to know I've been in therapy. I'm trying not to be that person anymore." I didn't reply. Not out of spite, but because I didn't need to. Forgiveness, I'd learned, isn't something you owe. It's something you give yourself when you finally feel free. Rewriting the ending. I never told anyone at the new job about what happened before. Not in detail. Not because I was ashamed, but because I didn't want it to be the story that defined me. That wasn't who I was anymore. I wasn't the one who exposed the rumor mill. I wasn't the office drama survivor. I was a builder now. A voice. A standard. Final reflections. Looking back, it still shocks me how small the spark was. One message. One cruel comment. One missed meeting. One quiet decision to fight back. That's how reputations fall. But also how they rise. Not from being liked. Not even from being loud. But from choosing again and again to stand when it's easier to sit. To speak when it's safer to stay silent. To be exactly who you are when someone else is trying to write you out of your own story. So, if you're reading this, if you've ever been whispered about, sidelined, erased, let me say this. You are not what they said. You are what you choose to do next. And I chose to build something better.